Welcome to Uninterrupted. We're on a mission to unlearn and learn about all things fashion, retail, and tech from the best in the industries. Hop on and be part of our journey as we unleash these gems for you. Today, I'm in conversation with one of the industry's most sought after and my personal favorite fashion stylist, Saanchi Gilani. Her take on fashion is casual yet very chic, and her wardrobe is a reflection of her appreciation for Indian craftsmanship and upcoming talent, coupled with high street and premium brands. Sanchi, welcome to Uninterrupted, and I'm absolutely elated to have you on air.
Thank you so much, Samriddhi. That was really, really sweet.
Okay, you know what was very interesting for me was to know that you actually majored in anthropology and had a bare minimum to do with fashion when you were studying. So tell me a little bit about how did your love affair with fashion begin?
No, I actually get this a lot, obviously, because anthropology and fashion have nothing to do with each other. But I think my love affair with fashion began when I was like an early teen. I would get ready and I would keep like seeing. Obviously, I couldn't really read a magazine properly back then, but I was just like, I would just be so amused with the graphic and pictorial. Representation of fashion that was there. So I would cut out all these things, make collages, and I really think I learned my color wheel from fashion, to be honest. But yeah, I think that's where it began, and I actually did apply to a fashion school. I applied to FIT and I got in, but my parents were very keen on me just doing something more conventional. Not that anthropology was, but they thought at least let me get a degree in a typical business college, and then whatever I choose to do, I can see. I think they felt like initially it would have been more of a I'm not sure if this is where I'd want to be. So they wanted me to keep all my paths open, and that's fine, honestly. I feel like I found my style, and I grew to still stay true to myself because I would come back every summer and do a fashion internship. So that helped.
Right. Okay. So tell me a little bit about where all you worked in fashion.
So I started working as an assistant to a bunch of freelance stylists because I would come back from college every summer and assist them. And with just as any profession, experience really helps in fashion as well. And I knew the way to like finally get a job would have been to like build my resume. So I would focus on doing that, and I got lucky because there were different stylists doing celebrity styling. There were different stylists doing editorial styling. So I got to like put my hand everywhere and see what works for me. Then by the time I graduated, my parents were like, okay, clearly she knows what she's doing and she's found her passion. And I was lucky enough to make it my job. And I worked with Tanya Gavri, I worked with Sanjana Batra. I also assisted in Houseful 4 as their fashion stylist. So it was nice because by this point I'd tried different things and I knew what was working for me. Um, I'd even worked with Reliance brands. So yeah, so I think I was lucky to find what I love.
That's amazing. You know, I'm like a big believer of what's meant to be will be, and clearly you're doing so well in the fashion space. So I guess that's true.
I genuinely, that's the way I look at it. I'm just like, whatever's going to happen, it is going to happen eventually. Just give it your best.
Right. Okay. You know, as a fashion stylist, tell me what are a few things on your checklist that you make sure are ticked off before you start like the styling process for someone? Do you get to know them? Do you get to know what they're comfortable in? Or how does it go?
So that's actually one of the main things. I do try my best to get to know them. Of course, not at like a deeper level, but even at a surface level, just their own personality, what works for them, whether they are bigger on accessories, whether they're bigger on like textures. You know, you pick up on that when you're having that conversation. And of course, I also just take that it's very important to take a look at their body type, their build, their height, because a lot of styling is done around this. Even skin tone, for that matter. I feel like certain colors really enhance or tone down the way you carry yourself off. And yeah, so I think these are the few things I do look at.
Okay, that's helpful. Are there any hard no's on your list, like maybe things you steer clear from or trends you don't understand or necessarily like?
So the thing with fashion is there's really no hard no, right? Because today something works, tomorrow something doesn't. And it's not as much about trends, but it's more about your style. Like I feel like it keeps evolving. But right now, I think I'm a little particular about how I style textures because I think it's a very thin line. It can get a little messy. I don't believe personally in over accessorizing, at least for myself. Because like people feel like, okay, like I'm wearing a plain white t-shirt and blue jeans. Why can't I just wear a belt and wear sunglasses and a hairband? You can't do everything. So over accessorizing is something I definitely don't do. Um, and trends that I don't really, maybe animal print. I personally don't seem to understand it. Popcorn shirts. I don't know if you know what they are. They were back then. They were like these
Yeah.
small shirts, and you just wear it, and it becomes big. And I'm like, is this supposed to be fun
Yeah.
or like what's going on? Then also leggings as pants. I That's something I've just never taken to.
Right. My mom's gonna love you because she says this all the time.
Oh, really? See, I'm glad.
Yeah. This has actually made me think of something very interesting. When it comes to on like a very personal note again, when it comes to my own style, like I feel like I don't experiment too much. Also, I was a fat kid growing up, so
Hmm.
I always kind of found solace in like loose clothes,
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
fitting me at all, ill fitted. And sometimes they would make you look bulkier, right?
Right.
Now a little bit has hit my head, so I'm a little more careful about that. But tell me, how does one define their personal style?
So, it's funny you say that as a fat kid, you wore looser clothes, because as a thin girl, that's exactly what I do. I also wear a lot of loose clothes, and I think that's how I found my personal style. I can say today I'm not that big on experimenting because I have found my personal style, but I do still try and push the envelope on days, and I'm like, okay, let me try. Like sometimes maybe this will work. So I think you should constantly keep trying and seeing what's working for you. Make a mistake, you have to, because that's the only way you'll know whether it's really worked for you or not. Um, and also just the number one thing is you have to be confident in it. Like there was for the longest time, honestly, I didn't take to sneakers. I wasn't comfortable with it. I felt like I was too skinny. My ankles were like looking even skinnier with like sneakers. So it's very different things. Obviously you're most critical about yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror. So take your time and see what's working for you. And then I would say just own that style. It doesn't have to be a trend, because sometimes even being out of style can really be your style. So yeah, I would say find your style, don't find the trend.
That's a really good tip. And sometimes when I talk to people, I start understanding. Sometimes we're so critical about ourselves. Like you just said,
Yeah.
your ankles are skinny. That's something
Yeah.
I've never thought about.
Yeah. Trust me, when we look at ourselves in a mirror, we are our biggest critics. I'm just like, no one's even gonna look at this.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try and do that. Or you're getting like an ANSI call from me where I don't know what to do.
Done whenever.
Okay. With the last few months, pajamas have kind of replaced every other piece of clothing for most people across the globe. A lot of pajama
Right.
hopping has happened. With another wave of lockdown hitting us and things getting shut again, I feel like work from home is going to continue for a while. Do you maybe have any tips to make like work from home outfits a little more decent?
So the way I would categorize this would be in two ways, right? One is when you are not presenting and you're actually just working and like getting on video calls on and off through the day. For that, I would say accessorize a little, maybe like put on nice pair of earrings or wear like a nice high neck top, because bottom again, for all you know, you'll probably be in pajamas. But I
Okay.
do think it's important to dress the part when you're working. Like even for this call, like it was important for me to put on my right outfit because it makes you feel it just you it the you know how they say dress your part. I'm a firm believer in that. So I would say if you are presenting, put on a blazer. Even if you're not like on a video call, just put it on, and always like try and stand and have that conversation because it just gives you that confidence. So definitely wear what you would normally wear to work. Of course, for a video and to enhance it a little, I would say accessorize it, and you can even like do nice hairdos because you have that accessibility.
Right. Okay. I've made mental notes, and on similar lines, tell me, so many weddings also happened in backyards, and to be honest, it was
Hmm.
beautiful. You know how people kind of found their way to be together, even when everything was shut. What is your take on how bridal courtyards kind of shifted through the last year?
So I think the one thing that really came in was experimenting. I actually saw a bride recently in a pantsuit and a blazer and things like that. So I think there was more room for experiments and unconventional dressing, and for it to even be accepted because normally it's that old traditional conventional Indian bride, but here it was more breaking norms and like there were smaller crowds, and I don't know. I just feel like it gave people confidence to do that. So I saw that coming in. I also think while you are a bride, and if you do want to go that conventional way, you can do it two ways. You can stick to your I'm a bride, regardless of how many people are there. It's still my big day, and like do your conventional dressing. Or you can also play on the conventional colors, but still do okay. I want to wear red, but maybe I want to accessorize it differently with the jewelry. Or if I want to do jewelry, maybe I'll play different on my colors. I just think there's a lot of scope to do what you want to do and it be okay.
Right. Okay. Sanji, if I haven't said it enough, I absolutely love your work. For everyone tuning in, tell me what all does being a stylist actually entail, and do you have any piece of advice for professionals looking to grow in this space?
So I think being a stylist honestly entails first finding your style, being really comfortable and confident in your style. Because your conversations when you are styling someone have to somehow reflect, okay, this is where you come from, but you're happy to meet them halfway or even the entire way. But you need to know your style so you don't mess around with it. So find that first. And I think for budding stylists, what I would say is just go all out, experiment everywhere, do the bridal styling, do the editorial, do the personal, do the like celebrity styling. Just give it your all, at least for the first, I would say, year, 2 years, and experiment everywhere. See what's working for you. And once you figure out, okay, you like this more than you like that, then stick to that. And even if you want to change it later, that's fine because styling is such a thing that you can always add to what you already know. But I would say first find what really works for you.
Right. Is it really hard, drawing that line between what your personal style as a stylist is and what the other person kind of needs?
So, see, the way I look at it is when somebody is hiring you as a stylist, they are trying to, they clearly like your style or they like your work in a certain way, right? So, I would
Right.
say, of course, hear them out, hear what works for them. And if you can entail your knowledge, even if not your style, but your knowledge about fashion, that can always like make the outcome better because then there are two minds coming together for that one look.
Amazing. Okay. That actually makes for a good checklist for everyone in this space. Okay. Can you also share, what is the difference between personal styling and shoot styling? Like, what all factors come into play in either scenario?
Okay, so if I had to put it in one sentence, celebrity styling incorporates more of a mood board, and personal styling is more of the human mood. It's literally that. So in celebrity styling, there are like many things, right? There's sometimes you're doing an editorial styling for a celebrity, sometimes you're doing a red carpet, sometimes you're doing a personal style for an event. So when it comes to the editorial and the like the red carpets, like there are times where you have a mood board and you're like, okay, I need to work around this. This is what the brand needs. This is what the celebrity needs. And in personal styling, it's more interaction with the person involved. And you're like, okay, this is your style. Let me try and meet that. So they're two different things, but one you're working out of what the person wants, and one you're working out of like different layers other than that person.
Right. Okay. And do you have any factors that you maybe consider before you source from a particular brand? Because, obviously, like all brands are kind of trying to make it to a point where people start sourcing from them. So, are there any things you consider before you say yes or no to say a particular brand?
So, the one thing that over a period of time has become really important is accessibility. I feel like brands, when you're sourcing from them, because sometimes we work under tight deadlines, sometimes we're working under like there's just so much going on, and you need accessibility with the brand. because the mood board can change, the outfit that you're thinking, you may want a different one. So I think accessibility is super, super important. And also just the styles and the availability, because there are times where you may like something but it's not available. So that definitely matters. Um, and there's just so much coming, there's so many designers, there's so much to like see from. So it's genuinely just the style for me also.
Right, I would have definitely got lost in the number of
Yeah.
options available today. Great. Okay. So I'm now going to move to the last section of our chat, which is a rapid fire round called High Five.
Okay, that sounds fun. Do I get a hamper?
Okay, so the number of times everyone's asked me this, I should have I don't know, maybe just actually got a hamper.
And here it's just
But
me.
I always
It's me
say
against you.
Yeah. No, I always say it's a hamper of all my love. So yes,
Thanks.
that's what
I'll
you're
take that
getting.
this pandemic.
Amazing. Okay. So, what are the 3 shoots that you absolutely love being a part of?
So, actually, just before this pandemic, I did this shoot for Wedding Filmer, which I absolutely loved. It was a big shoot of like 16 people, so that was great. Then my first cover shoot with Nargis Fakri, that's just close to my heart. And with Tanya, when I was working for her, we did the shoot for Filmfare with Sonam and Karina, and the female energy on that set, it still brings me back to it.
All of them sound so interesting, but the Wedding Filmer has such a special place in my heart that I'm still at that.
Yeah, me too, trust me.
Right, okay. What was the turning point for you in your career?
I actually had 2 turning points. I think one of it was when I, of course, worked with Tanya. I think that helped me a lot. I had experience with a lot of different celebrities. And my second was when I actually worked as the stylist for Reliance brands, because it was completely different, but it was still I learned so much in it.
Right, okay. Name 5 homegrown labels that you're in love with or shop from regularly.
Oh, okay. I want to say SG. Anokhi, I love Anokhi. I sleep in it, I eat in it, I do everything in it. 1101 and Good Organics.
Okay. What is one styling tip that works wonders for all body types?
I think after our initial part of this conversation, I think loose clothes, because clearly it works for the healthy child plus the skinny child. So I would say that, and of course to be able to play it right, like if you are skinny and you want to add a layer to it, or if you are healthy and you want to put a belt to it and accentuate your waistline, like it could be it's many things obviously, but I think loose clothing and oversized clothing helps all.
They're so comfortable. I just can't let go.
I hope you don't have to.
I know. I don't know what I would do without
And
them.
I'm so glad that fashion is now also comfort. Yeah.
100%. Okay. Who are the 3 people who inspire you every day?
So I think professionally, my best friend Masoom, I think she's just all there with her female energy.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Purnia, she's a solid person. And in fashion, Lydia Tomlinson, I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a content creator, but she's her styling is 101. I love it. It's chic, it's it's very relevant. It's great.
Amazing. Okay. Saanchi, thank you so much for taking the time out and being on Uninterrupted. It was a pleasure talking to you and getting to know you up close and personal. Good luck for everything that you do, and I hope to see you in loose clothes very,
Thank
very
you
soon.
so much, Samriti. This was great. It was a lot of fun. And I hope to see you back in those loose clothes so we can do a difference in style right there.
Amazing. Okay. Done. Okay. We should make an Instagram reel about it because that's
all my
working
God,
today.
tell me. Great. Thank you so much, Samriti. Thank you.
Thank you. For everyone who tuned in today, thank you so much for taking the time out and listening to our conversation. If this conversation struck a chord with you, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and share this with your friends and family. If you have a take on the topic we discussed or if you'd like to share some feedback, please feel free to write to me. I'm going to catch you next week with yet another uninterrupted conversation. Have a great evening ahead.